Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Reavyne and welcome back to my channel. And welcome to my Hitokiri, Sakura, Yato, Basic to Advanced Full Guide. Turns out the heroes these days have a lot of different names, but for the purpose of this video, I'm calling it Sakura. So in this video, I'll be going through all the basics of the hero, basically running through the move list, showing you how to do all that sort of stuff. Then we're going to be going over all the advanced stuff when it comes to the hero, how to play her, all the max punishes, so on and so forth, all the little nuanced bits of the Sakura. And then hopefully once this video is done, you'll be able to go forward and cut a bunch of people in half because she is so much fucking fun and she's really aggressive. You just have to be a little bit careful because you will have stamina. I've turned stamina off for this video, but stamina is a bit of an issue for her once you get carried away, and it's very easy to get carried away because she's so much goddamn fun. So first of all, let's go over all the stuff in the moveset. So Mengen-Ru, sorry for butchering these, I'm not Japanese. But the Hitokiri has access to a state called Mengen-Ru, which grants them special moves. Some maintain Mengen-Ru, others end it. So essentially what this is once you do this right here, the Mengetsu, which is your heavy attack, you'll go into Mengen-Ru, and from there it's essentially just a infinite heavy chain type thing. So you can keep chaining your heavies and basically that will maintain it. And then you have a kick which you can do during your Mengen-Ru, which once again will maintain the sort of thing. You have a sweep which you can do, we'll go over that later. But yeah, you can also do a light attack to initiate your Mengen-Ru. Mengen-Ru is essentially just your infinite chain. Next up, Sakura has the ability to charge up her heavy attacks. Now this is pretty much the same as Shigoki and Centurion and stuff. She gets hyper armor on her charges, which is pretty goddamn cool. I'll show you that later. Next up, we have the Ray Kick attack. So this just means that you can throw out kicks and you can throw out sweeps in between your infinite combo, and this will allow you to get different punishes off of those depending on whether you land a kick or you land a sweep. Of course, you can cancel everything, the heavy attacks, the sweeps, the kicks, all that sort of stuff, which is going to be very good for mind games and what you're going to need to do a lot, especially in 1v1 if you want to land any damage. You also got a bunch of hyper armor attacks, which is going to work really, really well at trading with people, and that is all when it comes to the specifics of the hero. Next, we'll go over her moves over here. First one is the Meikai, which is basically just your light attack. 500 MS lights, bop, bop. Now, if you do a second light after the first one, you get hyper armor. It's really, really cool because you can also do it off of a heavy. So, boom, you get hyper armor on the second light no matter what you do. So your first light, of course, doesn't have it. Your second light will have it. So the light attacks are what they are, pretty much good light attacks. You get some hyper armor, so if you want, you can sort of, whiff the first one and then sort of go for the second one if they're staying back a little bit, so you can at least get the hyper armor so you can trade. But theoretically, you don't want to throw out the lights by themselves because you will bounce off people if they block like this. Alright, and then it sort of just ends the thing, puts you in recovery. Whereas the second light, because it has that hyper armor, it won't put you in recovery, so you can sort of do stuff off of it. Next is the Mengetsu, which is the heavy. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the heavy attack is, once again, boom, you get hyper armor. And it's pretty early on, so you can trade effectively with this. You see someone attack, just go for your heavy, bam. You're going to rip out that hyper armor, you're going to trade, it does 30 damage, it's pretty cool. Now, one thing to note that when you go for your heavy, which will give you hyper armor, you can then keep heavying, and that's your infinite chain, okay? So you can just keep going all day long until you run out of stamina. Now, the thing about this is that, as you can see, none of these heavies have hyper armor on them, okay? So only the first heavy that you do will have hyper armor on it. Every other heavy after that will not, unless you go and charge up the heavy attack. So the first one will have hyper, the other ones will not, and then if I was to charge this one, bop, I get hyper armor, okay? So all charged heavies about there will gain hyper armor, because keep in mind, you can sort of do whatever you want and cancel, but it's important to realize that if you're going to be just trying to trade with people, just do one heavy, okay? Or you can do that one heavy, followed by a light attack. Both of them will have hyper armor. Next is the Endless Myriad, which I just showed you. Basically, you just heavy attack and just keep heavying. You can heavy from the same direction, whatever you want to do. Meikai Rift, I also showed you. So essentially, that was just after, while you're in your infinite combo type thing at any point, just do a light attack and you'll do that hyper armor light. Mengetsu Rift is essentially the thing I showed you as well, which is just you hold down the heavy button and you'll go into a charged up heavy like Shigoki, Centurion, all that sort of stuff. You get hyper armor as well, which is quite cool. Keep in mind that it's slow, right? So if you just hold it, they're just going to wait and parry, but you can do different timings of stuff. So you can go one heavy, you can charge it a little bit, let it go. You can charge it even more, let it go. Just keep in mind that after you charge it for a certain period of time, it's going to become unblockable. And you're also going to have the hyper armor. And now we get into the kicks and the sweeps. So essentially the way this works is is that if you do a heavy attack and then hit your guard break afterwards, so on the Xbox controller, which I am using, converted to whatever you're playing on PC or PS4, on Xbox, it's your guard break. So whatever it is, hit your guard break after you land a heavy, and you'll do this kick. Now, the kick is unblockable, so they can't stop it unless you bulwark counter it, but that's a Black Prior Vortiger thing. But once you land this, you can get different things. To get the sweep, basically after you land a heavy, you just hold the guard break button, and you'll go for a hyper armor sweep. Now, keep in mind it has hyper armor on it. The kick doesn't. The sweep, though, does. Bop. Okay? And you can do these at any point in the infinite chain. So you can go heavy attack, you can go heavy attack, you can go heavy attack, guard break for that kick, bop, alright? Or you can go heavy attack, hold down the guard break button, and you'll sweep. They're both pretty fucking slow, so keep that in mind. But there's some stuff you can do later on in terms of cancels, which I'll show you when we get to the advanced part. But just to do it, you basically just heavy attack, and then you want to guard break. Make sure you've already thrown the attack out before you hit guard break. If I do heavy guard break, it's not going to work. You need to wait for the heavy to actually go out before you hit guard break in order to get the kick or the sweep. Sweep. And the last two things to show you is the sprint attack, which is a normal sprint attack. So as you're running, you're in free form mode, you hit heavy attack, and you'll run in and do a massive uppercut. Now, it's a pretty cool thing. Whop. But of course they can block it, so on and so forth. It's still a heavy, keep that in mind. The other thing is, if you, she has basically the same thing as the Kensei. So you dodge forward and you hit your heavy attack and you'll do this. Whop, and you'll slap people. Doesn't have hyper armor on it, so keep that in mind. It is a top one and it's fancy looking, really cool, but it is slow, so they might parry it very, very easily. But it's really, really good for catching people as they try to roll away. So they try and, you know, dodge away, try and run away. You can basically slap them with that, and it just allows you to chase them more. But keep in mind, it doesn't go super far. It's not like Kensei's where he just goes fucking flying across the map. It does have a limited range to it. So that is the Sakura's kit. Now, there's not much there. Her entire gameplay style revolves around being aggressive, trading blows, and pretty much just mind-fucking your enemy with all the cancels that you can do. And that's where the advanced part of the guide comes into play, okay? So I'm going to go through all the advanced stuff you can do with her in terms of canceling stuff, fainting stuff, max punishes, the things you need to know in order to play her at an advanced level. If you want to play her at a basic level, just throw freaking attacks out, just hit people, you're going to get parried, but who cares, you're just having fun. If you want to be a bit more tricky with her, you need to start canceling stuff in order to bait out attacks from your opponent, and you need to start weaving guard breaks and stuff in there as well. So let's go over that. So two really important things is the fact that the first heavy will always have that hyper armor, and of course the second light will have hyper armor as well. This is amazing because what you can do is you can basically bait people out into throwing attacks. As soon as you see someone throw an attack, just throw a heavy out and then follow up with a light, because you know for a fact you're going to trade with both of those and you're going to end up doing a ton of damage. Because look at this. 30 damage on that, and then it's 18 on that. That's 48 damage from 2 attacks, and they will only get 1 attack on you realistically. Unless you're versing a berserker or something, but that's, you know, that is what it is. Now, one thing to note is you can initiate the kick not only off of the heavy by hitting guard break, but you can also do it off of the light by hitting guard break. That goes for the sweep as well. Light into the holding guard break, you'll go for the sweep. Heavy, hold the guard break, you'll go for the sweep. That's really, really important because that allows you to have more options. So basically you can trade someone and then go for the kick and knock them off their feet or something as well. Or you can just go for a quick little tap, bop, and then go for a sweep or a kick as well. Now when it comes down to the sweeps and the kicks, they get 2 different things. So the kick gets a guaranteed, if you land it, heavy attack. Okay, and you can do that from pretty much any direction. Whereas the sweep only gets a guaranteed light attack. So you go for the sweep, bop, knocks him down, and then you get a light. Now it's a little bit weird because, like I said, you get this big sweep off and then there's like this animation of you sort of shoring yourself up and them getting up. Just make sure you throw the light attack from the exact same direction that you sweep from. But yeah, it would be cool if you can get a heavy off of it, but it is what it is. If you want to get a heavy, make sure you basically kick him in the face, get that heavy. Mold that into your brain because it's very, very important. Next up is the fact that you can feint the kick and the sweep during the startup phase. So keep that in mind. You go for the kick, hit that feint button, and you can basically go into a feint. You can do the same thing with the sweep. So you go for the sweep, and then you can basically stop it. That's really good for baiting out stuff because what you can do is you can do this. You can go for a heavy attack, go for the kick, and then basically feint it into a guard break. Now that's really important because most people are going to do two things to get away from the kick or the sweep. And that is the fact that they're going to dodge. That's the only way to pretty much get away from it, unless you're black primed and you can basically bull or counter it. But that's the best way to get out of it. And of course, if you go for a guard break while they're dodging, you're going to catch them. And then once you guard break, the best thing about Sakura is you can get a heavy attack from any direction. Does not matter where, even top ones. You're guaranteed 30 damage off of that. And the second best thing about it is the fact that you can basically do this and you can do all of those combos we talked about before. So you can basically chain that into multiple things. You can basically go for that guard break, heavy, do an unblockable one, slap him in the face with that. You can guard break, you can heavy, and then go for that light hyper armor heavy. There's a lot there. And you got all of that off of basically cancelling your kick or your sweep. And on top of that, the same applies to all of her heavies. So you can basically feint all your normal heavies by hitting your feint button. On Xbox, it's B. During the startup of the move. So you can leave it a little bit, but not too much. If you go too late, it's just going to go through anyway, but you can sort of have a bit of a window there. As long as during the startup of the move, you're good to go. So keep in mind, it's the same with charging it up. So you can basically throw the attack out and feint. You can charge up a little bit and feint. You can charge it all the way to the unblockable part and still feint. That's pretty freaking insane. That's really going to be really good for baiting people out. So basically what you can do is you can charge it all the way, hit that feint. They're going to throw out the parry, okay, because they're going to go for that heavy, and then you can parry them and hit them in return with whatever you get. Of course, with the parry changes, for those of you who don't know, if you parry a light attack, you get a heavy off of it. If you parry a heavy attack, you get a light off of it. So you can basically charge, oh, he's going for it. You can feint it. They're going to throw that attack out. Boom, parry him. Slap him with something. And that's where her gameplay lies. It's about trading blows with your hyper armor. It's about basically fucking people up by feinting a whole bunch. So a good thing to do is you trade with the first blow, you then charge up, you then feint it, and then you basically catch them in whatever move they do, whether that be a parry, where that be you charge it up, you feint, and then you go into a guard break. Of course, then you get a heavy off of that. There's a ton you can do there, but her entire gameplay is being aggressive, either through just hyper armoring through shit and doing damage, or it's about the mind games and feinting a whole bunch of different things in order to get them to do something and then fucking them on depending on what they do. Now, keep in mind that you don't just want to throw out heavies like this. It's parry bait. You're just going to get fucking wrecked because people are just going to parry this all day long unless they're brand new to the game. Although it is really, really fun to do, stamina is a big issue as well. Like I said before, you got to manage your stamina big time. So the max punish for the Sakura, Hitokiri, Yato, whichever one you want to call it, is 2 heavies in the exact same direction that you throw the person. And you have to do it pretty much as soon as you throw them. So, for example, from the side, guard break, toss him on his ass, heavy, heavy. That's the max punish. That's 60 damage. That's a lot of damage. You can also do it from the top. So you guard break, throw them on their ass, heavy, heavy. Now keep in mind that is from the forward direction, same direction. If you go and throw him in different directions, it's not the same. So if I grab him, throw him to the side, I go for that heavy, he'll basically recover by the time I throw that second heavy. Same if I throw him behind me, right, heavy, heavy. It's because there's certain different animations of like slapping them around and stuff that fucks it over. So if you ever get someone exhausted, you want to guard break them, throw him forward, and then go heavy, heavy. So that's key. Always throw them forward and you'll get the maximum amount of damage. And of course, the same rules apply when you throw someone into a wall, chuck them into a wall, and then you get to basically hit them with a heavy from the same direction that you threw them. So don't go changing it because it's a little bit weird. Sometimes they might recover sooner, they might not. But yeah, you basically just want to chuck them into the wall and then slap them with a heavy. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Hitokiri, the Yato, Sakura, whichever name you prefer. That is how you play. The main thing is being overly aggressive in terms of trading. Okay, so you want to trade with your hyper armor. And then what you want to do is you want to basically start mixing in your kicks into your infinite chains, your sweeps into your infinite chains. You want to remember the stuff you get off of them if you do land them. And you want to make sure that you feint a bunch of stuff. The kicks and the sweeps are very readable. You can see them a mile away. Okay, the heavies are, not the fastest things in the world. So you only want to throw the heavies out when you're trading. The light attacks are cool because they have hyper armor on the second one and they're sort of really quick. So, light attacks are always a quick thing, especially on consoles. But you want to remember your punishers. You want to remember your max punishers. You want to make sure you trade with a bunch of people and you want to abuse the fact that you can charge up that heavy all the way towards the end and then basically feint it. Same with the fact that you can feint your kicks and your sweeps to catch people with, like, you know, kick, feint, guard break, stuff like that as they go to dodge it. That's how you play her, and that's the advanced part of her. Basically learning how to mindfuck people and learning all the punishes and stuff that you get off of the character. Once you can successfully mindfuck people anytime you want by weaving in kicks and heavies and charging them up and feinting them and doing all that, you're going to basically crush a bunch of people, especially in 1v1. That's how you're going to have to play her. Otherwise, you're not going to get damage down unless you just turtle and trade. But most people have openers nowadays, Riporochi. So it's a little bit hard to just turtle because they're going to do something to you. But I really do hope this guide helped. Now go forth, be creepy, and please, for me, cut some people in half. But that is the end of the video, guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. I love reading and replying to all your comments down below. And feel free to check out my Discord and Twitter. There is a link down below in the description box for both of those as well. The Discord is a great way for me to talk to you guys outside the YouTube comments section. And of course, the Twitter is a great way for you guys to get a notification whenever a video is being uploaded, because YouTube is a bit weird sometimes. And if you like this video and you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support the channel further, feel free to check out my Patreon. There'll be a link down below in the description box, and a link will pop up at the end of the video. And if you choose to donate, it is greatly appreciated. And a big shout out to my current patrons whose names you've been seeing in the background. Just wanted to say thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. And please share this video around, it does help me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.